Hi, I'm Cass Kim, and I'm here to talk to you today about publishing using Ingram Spark. So, I am an author as well as a freelance editor. You can find information about what I do on casskim.casskim.com. You can find me on Twitter, casskim_writes, or you can find me here on Instagram, Cass_Kim_writes. So every Monday I do lives on Instagram at 10 a.m. Hawaii time, which currently means 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then these lives, I take them and put them here on my YouTube channel where people can see them with the visual words as well, so that anybody who is hearing impaired has that opportunity to get the key points of information. Every once in a while, I'll do a quiz on Twitter, like a poll on Twitter, to see what people want to know about. But I'm also really excited to reveal that as part of the Right Hive Discord, there's a channel now for self-pub help, and I will be taking questions on that channel as well and answering them in a section of my weekly YouTube videos. So if you have a question about self-publishing, doesn't matter how simple you think it is, doesn't matter how weird you think it is, just drop a question. Go ahead to the Right Hive Discord and drop a question in the self-pub help channel, and I will answer it in full here on my videos every week. That being said, if you don't know what Right Hive is, you should go ahead and check it out. It is a free online conference for writers at any stage in the journey of publishing, whether you're choosing to self-pub or to go traditional. They have workshops for anything you could possibly imagine. So it's definitely worth checking out. It's going to be in April, and the Discord is active all year round. So now, Ingram Spark. A lot of people say, well, why do I want to do Ingram when I can just do KDP? Or can I do KDP and Ingram at the same time? And the answer is yes, you can do both. It doesn't mean, if you're on Ingram, it doesn't mean you can't do KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing through Amazon. If you're doing Ingram, the nice thing is that it gives you the ability to have your books be returnable for bookstores, and it gives you the ability to have a retailer discount to make it more interesting or exciting for bookstores to consider carrying your book on their shelves. Bookstores benefit from the retailer discount because that's where their profit is going to come from. So say my book is on Amazon, print on demand. If a bookstore wants to order it, they would have to order at the retail price, which means if they're going to sell it, they would have to sell it above that to make any kind of profit. If they order it through print on demand on Ingram and I've put it at a 45% or 50% retail discount, then they're going to get that amount of money, that discount amount, whether it's $2, $3, whatever it might end up being, they're going to get that as their profit from selling your book in their bookstore. So that's why the retail discount is really important. I've read a lot of places that if you want to get on Barnes & Noble shelves, it's really difficult, but you also need to offer a really significant discount, such as 55%. So that's what I did for my first children's book, Wendy's Winter Walk. This one. Ooh, that ring light, you can really see it. Wendy's Winter Walk. And I offered it at 55% retail discount for paperback, and I think 45 or 50% for the hardcover, just because otherwise the hardcover price would have had to be sky high to make any kind of profit on it. And it worked. I got on a lot of shelves that way. I emailed and called and talked to people, and as soon as I said the 55% discount, I heard people really warm up to it. If you don't want to do the retailer discount, you can always look at consignment options as well. So a lot of independent bookstores will have deals where you can bring your book or send your book to them. You purchase it, you pay the printing price, you purchase it, you send it to them, and then you do some kind of profit share on the sales that they have in the bookstore. So that would be the other thing. And every bookstore's consignment rules is a little bit different. Some of them have fees for it, some of them do certain percentages, some of them have rules about how long they'll keep it on the shelf before they return it to you. So that's something to think about. But the nice thing about that is if you don't want to go the consignment route, Ingram will allow you to do that retailer discount. KDP, you could use author copies for the consignment if you wanted to. So think about that when you're making this decision as well. So tips and tricks for Ingram. One thing I think that's important to know is that Ingram has a template for their paperback and hardcovers. When you if you're familiar with KDP publishing, Kindle Direct Publishing, then you know that you basically just need a PDF of your cover, like the full wrap cover, to upload onto KDP. But it's different for Ingram. They have a template that has like measurements and different things. So you're actually, this is your book picture, but this is the whole template. So it doesn't even take up the entire template with your book picture. So keep that in mind, because you're going to need a different file for your paperback on Ingram, your hardcover on Ingram if you choose to do a hardcover, and then an entirely different file for any paperbacks that you're going to do on Kindle Direct Publishing. So files are one thing to really consider. The nice thing about Kindle Direct Publishing recently switching from the Mobi file to the EPUB file is that your EPUB can be the same for both places, meaning you can use the same EPUB file for Kindle Direct Publishing that you're using for Ingram Spark or any other place that you might be publishing. The EPUB is pretty widely accepted. Your interior is going to be PDF for both places. But you might want to make sure that you're following all the rules, especially if you have a lot of graphics for Ingram, because they're a little bit more picky about what they're going to let through. They have a pretty strict file review system. The other thing is with Kindle, you do a previewer. So if you're familiar with Kindle Direct Publishing, I'm kind of comparing them for you today so that if you are familiar, you have a way to think about, okay, this is what I need to expect going into Ingram. And if you haven't done either, then you still have kind of an idea of what to expect either way. So Kindle Direct Publishing, once you upload your files and you're ready to go, then you have a print preview option or a previewer option, whether it's ebook or print, doesn't matter. You have a previewer option, and you flip through. You can look at the thumbnails, the tiles, and make sure. Ooh, there's a loud truck going by. But you can look at the thumbnails. You can look at the files as pages. You can look at them as like book pages where they're like side by side, and just make sure that nothing's bleeding off the margins. Make sure that all of your page breaks and chapter breaks all look good, and then that's how you can look at it in Kindle. But with Ingram, you actually don't get to look at your preview before you put it submitted for them to review it. So Kindle, you upload, you preview, and then you wait for them to review, and then it goes straight from their review to publishing. So it's all kind of just one big upload it, review it, you sign off on it, and then you wait for Amazon to sign off of it. Ingram's a little bit different. So Ingram, you're going to upload everything that you need uploaded, and you're just gonna pay your fee and send it for them to review. They're gonna review it in, it usually only takes about a day for me, but I think it can take up to 72 hours, business days. It's never taken that long for me though. And they'll email you and tell you your proof is ready. So your print proof will be ready for you to view. They don't do a proof at all for your EPUB, so be aware of that. Make sure you check your EPUB on KDP or a different viewer before you submit it on Ingram. But your paperback and your hardcover, they'll send you a notification saying that your preview is ready, and then you actually have to go into titles on the left-hand menu. You have to go into titles, and then you have to go into titles awaiting approval, and then you can download the PDF of your preview, and it shows you the cover, talks about the ley lines, and then you can go through and look at all your pages that way. And then once that's done, you have two options with Ingram, which is nice because you don't really have this option with KDP. You have two options with Ingram. You can say, oh, KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing. So as you guys know, I am doing these live as well as putting them on YouTube. So if you see me answer a question real quick, it's usually a question from the live. So yeah, Kindle Direct Publishing is KDP. But on Ingram, when you, I forgot what I was saying now. But on Ingram, when you approve of your book, so they approve of your files, they do your preview. If everything looks good and you like it and you're ready to order your copies, but you don't want it going out to the world till you actually physically get to see that copy in your hands, or maybe you want copies in stock if you're doing any direct sale options for your launch, you can actually make it so that only you can order your book. And then as soon as you're ready for worldwide distribution, then you just change it to worldwide distribution and anybody can order it. So that allows you to do things like pre-orders through Kindle for paperback and hardcover, or through Amazon, for paperback and hardcover, which you cannot do at this point in time through Kindle Direct Publishing. So that's another benefit. If you're interested in doing pre-orders for your paperback or hardcover books, you really need to do something like Ingram Spark so that you have that option. So if you're gonna order for yourself first, you want to make sure that you select the option that says it's not for wide distribution, it's only for you. And the other thing is, it's going to give you an option then when you choose to order your proofs or you choose to order copies for yourself. It's going to ask you if you want to override the publishing date. And you want to say yes. You want to say absolutely yes, because that means they can print it and send it to you as soon as it hits its spot in their printing queue. You don't want to wait until it's published, because then you're not getting anything any faster than anybody else who orders through anywhere. And if you want to be able to offer your book for sale, direct sales, you want to have that in your hands before your launch date, ideally. So that's something to think about for Ingram. So I would say the two biggest differences for my experience as far as benefits from Ingram versus Kindle Direct Publishing is the ability to do the pre-sales, and then the ability to offer returns and or retail discounts, which gives you that opportunity to be wider published. They also will kind of send out an email automatically or a list automatically to all the different publishers, whether it's Kobo and Walmart, anybody on IndieBound bookstores, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all of those big retailers, all of those little retailers, and even the libraries get a list of newly published titles. And so that also gives you a wider reach as far as professionals and bookstores that are seeing your book is out there. You don't have to do anything for that. There is, when you hit publish, there is an opportunity to do a promotion where you get to be in their like quarterly or semi-annual like journal thing that they send out. I have not done that. I've kind of had intermittent reviews when I've read blogs about it, so I've chosen not to do that. But what you will see is you'll see different websites will pick up your book that's been enabled for widespread distribution in different timeliness. So you might see it pop up on Amazon in 2 days. You might see it pop up on Barnes & Noble's in a week. Or you might see it pop up on Barnes & Noble in like 2 to 3 days, and then you're like, well, why isn't the hardcover on Amazon? And it just is because different book sellers look at the list and do their uploads at different times. So it's not in your control, and you're not doing anything wrong. If you enabled it for widespread distribution, it's just a little bit of a waiting game. Let's see. The other thing to consider when you're looking at Ingram Spark is that it does cost to do revisions. So it does cost, technically, it costs to upload your first version of your book. So you're going to upload those files, and I believe I said earlier you have to pay to upload them, and you do, except that there's a lot of places that you can get codes for that first free upload. So before you're uploading on Ingram, just search for Ingram Spark codes, because you can find them in a lot of different places. You can get them from the Alliance of Independent Authors if you are a member there. I think you can get them from a lot of different groups that you could be a membership or have a membership with. You can usually get them during NaNoWriMo, National Writing Month. If you're a part of that, they usually offer it through there as well. So where they do get you, though, is if you have to do revisions. Something I did not know the first time that I did revisions is that you have the option to revise just one file. So when you go in, say you found a typo, say you found something that didn't look good in the preview and you wanted to revise your files. You got that physical proof copy and you're like, wow, I'll be cow-kicked. That doesn't look exactly like I hoped it would. And you're like, I'm going to go through and I'm going to fix this because it's important to me that my quality is what I want it to be. So you go through, you get it reformatted, and you want to upload the files. But there's nothing wrong with your cover. Your cover looked great. You don't want to change your cover. Here's the thing. When you go to upload or change or revise a file, it's going to give you both your cover and your interior. And my mistake was I thought I had to re-upload both, and that I would maybe get to pick which one I wanted to, pay for to change. I didn't realize that it didn't matter. You didn't have to put both files in. So if your cover's fine, even though it shows you the cover thing, don't put anything in there because your old cover will stay there. It's not gone. It didn't disappear. Just leave that blank so that you're not paying for it. Don't hit anything over there, and just re-upload the file that you want to change, because you're going to pay for each file that you're changing. So if you're changing interior and cover, that's going to be $25 each, I believe is the current rate. It's a lot harder to find codes for revision than it is for upload. So my number one tip would be make sure that you are ready. Make sure that your first upload is the upload you're going to go with, because it's going to save you money in the long run. But again, if you do have to upload and you only want to upload, maybe you just want to change your paperback cover and your hardcover looks good, your interior for both, because you're going to use the same interior for both as long as they're the same trim size, Your interior looks good. You just didn't like something in the paperback cover, so you got it reformatted. Just upload the paperback cover. Don't re-upload anything else because you're going to have to pay for it. And it didn't disappear. You might worry that it disappeared because they don't tell you that it didn't disappear, but it didn't disappear. So don't worry. Only change what you need to change when you're doing revisions, period. So that's what I would tell you is most important to know when using Ingram Spark. As far as wanting to know what discounts to do for retailers, which I imagine could be a big question, it actually gives you a calculator so you can see how much you would be making on the book, and it automatically calculates across all of the worldwide territories. So it gives you put in what you want for your US price and you put in what you want for your discount amount, and it will calculate through what your royalties are going to be, and then it'll calculate through what your price point has to be at all the different marketplaces. Like Australia always ends up like sky high. Canada, UK, all these different places that they can print it. It will give you an automatic recommended price point. And then it'll also flag you if your discount and your price point is going to mean that you're not making any royalties. They won't let you go in the negative for royalties, so don't worry. Just make sure you're paying attention to that. And give it time because sometimes it takes a minute to load the calculations. Okay, so those are my biggest tips or the biggest things that I learned when using Ingram to publish wide. I know Kindle Direct Publishing has an option for publishing wide with their print on demand, but I will tell you, I did not find that to be effective. And if you're truly wanting to publish wide and to get into places like Barnes & Noble and you want to get on indie bookshelves, most bookstores will not work with Kindle Direct Publishing print on demand for your paperbacks. And you don't even have the option for doing hardcover through Kindle Direct Publishing. So if getting on shelves is really important for you, be prepared to have to do a lot of extra phone calls, emails, begging, being very personable, showing that you're willing to do some of that footwork to market your book at their store, not just market your book, but market your book at their store. And then also, I really recommend doing Ingram Spark or a different program that allows returns and the retailer discount, because that's really going to be your biggest selling point trying to get on shelves. If anybody has any questions about these things, about Ingram Spark, about Kindle Direct Publishing, like I said, I am now on a channel on Right Hive, Discord, Self-Pub Help. I'm also happy to answer questions that you drop in the YouTube comments, questions that come to me on Twitter or Instagram. I'll pop my Twitter handle up here and my Instagram handle up here when I do the YouTube video. And thanks so much for tuning in today to the live, you guys. It really makes me happy. And I will see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Bye.